Hello, folks, and welcome to the Richard Moore Show. I'm going to continue my segment on the killing fields of Rose Hill. And we're going to go a little deeper into this story of Kayla Prestridge, Amory, Mississippi, that died October the 22nd, 2018. This is so if you hadn't seen the first segment on this, I encourage you to do that and bring yourself up to par with what we're doing here. And chances are, many people that you haven't heard the story, you're going to hear it again for the first time. The more I read and the more I study about the circumstances surrounding the death of Kayla Prestridge, the more alarming and concerning that obviously it becomes. It's very clear why the parents and family and friends are still questioning and still talking about these things, and I think we owe it to Kayla, and we owe it to we owe it to the community, and not just this community in North Mississippi, but this type of tragedy transcends across this nation. This is simply one of tens and thousands of deaths in America a year. More times than not. Got a little thunder there. And so I guess that is my percussion pit going on there. Now, there's a lot of alarming things here. The first thing is the fact that then Sheriff Cecil Cantrell, he's no longer the sheriff, and I've talked about that. And there's a lot of mitigating factors the reason he's not sheriff. And it hadn't got anything to do with, well, he wasn't any good or anything like that. I can't think of many sheriffs in Mississippi that have served over 2 or 3 terms, and they're just a fixture. They're a fixture. And so it's usually a decision is made. It's never an upset or a shock that a certain individual wins, but something happened. The people supporting Cantrell, and these are outside influences outside of Monroe County, and that should be alarming. When we have outside influences affecting state and local and federal elections, we've got a problem. So moving on with that, Cantrell said, he told Kayla's mother, as far as he was concerned, there was no crime to be investigated. That is the pace. That's the tempo of how this investigation or lack thereof has taken place. So I'm going to take some of the accounts of family, and it says Kayla had been helping her dad around the outside of his home all weekend in Splunge, and was coming home Sunday evening. Jonathan, and we're going to talk a little bit more about Jonathan, a whole lot more. And he showed up at her dad's house, and he talked to her, or she talked to him, and to bring one of the two, bringing her home. So her dad would make him leave. So she thought he'd take her home, and then ended up not doing the same thing. So supposedly, Hannah Blair is also involved. And I've looked at some of this stuff with Hannah Blair. This is the first time I recall this name coming up. And so what is known about Hannah Blair, she's bisexual, and so she I don't know what that's got to do with it, other than she's butchy and likes girls. That's usually the deal. I usually say bye just to kind of water down what's really going on. Jonathan had been with her for 2 weeks. He'd also came out in public, a public relationship with Jenifer Gardner 2 days after Kayla died. All right, now we've got us a rodeo, ladies and gentlemen. Jenifer, Gardner, Gasper, and whatever other last name you want to put in there. And my understanding, I know that she used to work at the smoke shack there in Amory. I knew her from United Furniture. And I have, I'm full well knowledgeable of who Jenifer Gardner is. Now, as I posted, it was posted on Facebook, a screenshot of a text message from Kayla's phone at 5:30 in the morning to her mother, asking her to pick her up at the Exxon. And the very next text message was later on, and this was someone else texting, I think Jonathan, or it might have been a girl, don't quote me on that, and to inform the mother that Kayla was at the emergency room in Amory. Looking through this, that first text message at 5:30 a.m. it says, pick me up at the Exxon. Well, we don't know if she was at the Exxon or not, but we do know, I do know, that Exxon is right there close to Jenifer Gardner's house. We don't know who sent the text message, but we know that that message got deleted, but apparently they were able to screenshot that before it was deleted off of her phone. That's kind of odd. I don't believe that Kayla sent the text message to her mother at 5:30. I believe that Kayla was incapacitated prior to 5:30 in the morning. The timeline of this would be Kayla said, pick me up, that she apparently jumped from a vehicle after 5:30 in the morning. That doesn't measure up. And if that doesn't measure up, Cecil Cancel, something is wrong. With what I just said, that shows intent to mislead purposely with that text message. So now, read on down. Jenifer's house is on 5th Street, and she hadn't been around these people until that night, because that's where he took her, and he took her and left. This Jonathan took her there and left. She'd never been there before. And of course, if you know Jenifer Gasper, she's the welcome wagon and can talk the horns off a billy goat. I mean, a motor running, and talk for hours. Of course, never say anything, but nevertheless talk. Now, she is I'm telling you, a strong right arm for law enforcement, has been for years, working, staying high, snitching, and so forth. Even to this day, I understand that Jenifer Gardner is posting that she's clean and all this stuff, and I don't know how she feels the need to post that. I'm not concerned about her sobriety or any of those things. What I am concerned about is why Jenifer Gardner is at the county jail ministering and offering drug counseling. That's alarming. So you spent years as an insurgent, as an embedded insurgent in so many lives, even imposing yourself of people that didn't even know you. destroying those lives. Many people are dead. Many went to prison. Most lost everything they had. Many spent tens upon thousands of dollars fighting unwarranted and unlawful charges that were propped up by Jenifer Gardner. I can't imagine anybody in the Monroe County Jail or any jail that is trying to listen to someone that has that type of resume. How can you have that type of resume and be allowed into any kind of correctional facility ministering and giving drug counseling as if she's qualified? Being a dope addict does not qualify you to be a drug counselor. I'm sorry. It might qualify you to persuade someone to try drugs they hadn't tried before and to use them in ways they've never used them before. She can be persuasive. Obviously so. She hadn't been investigated. We'll go back to the fact that of her propensity to talk nonstop, and does she know and will she talk about too much? Sure, same goes with Jonathan. So what it's looking like here is we've got a whole clutch of card-carrying rats, and Kayla Prestridge has been dropped off into a pool of piranhas. That is exactly what it's looking like. So they went to the bedroom with Bridget Blair Reed. How many names have you got? He woke her up about 3 something. I guess this was Jonathan yelling, "Get up, I'm taking you home." We were told Hannah hit her on the back of the head with a hammer and a towel. She died internal injuries, and blood came through her eyes, ears, and nose and mouth. Now, she had no leaves or grass or anything like that on her clothing or anything. She jumped from a moving car is what the story is. But now we see the clothing and the blood and the autopsy, the markings and so forth, that she was either forced or thrown from the car. But I've seen an x-ray briefly of the skull, and I'm not a forensics expert. Neither is Michael Fowler, the coroner in Chickasaw County, Mississippi, but he has managed to bury many people, sign off on many people with a bogus cause of death. And so I think, and so that crooked is a dog-legged tyrant, Michael Fowler. He's not coroner anymore. He's some kind of secret agent man or something like that. Give me a break. I don't know how you can be a secret agent man, especially somebody you can smell them way before you ever see them. He's not going to be sneaking up on anybody. I don't know how he's going to do that. So this is, and folks, we can. Someone saw Jonathan pulled over on the road on their road, so they're close outside, and he admits he was going to dump her body in the ravine, and then he got a heart. But a neighbor saw him and his kids, yelled. That's when he got back in the car, backed up, fishtailing backwards, and went over the hill towards our house. We have him on camera coming and going hill by our house at 6:08. He was supposedly rushing her to the ER. Now, 6:08. That's odd, isn't it? 5:30, picked me up at the Exxon at 6:08. He's trying to dump a body. That wasn't a text. Jenifer Gardner's house is a crime scene. Jenifer Gardner won't give a statement. She won't talk. Jonathan won't talk. this Blair girl. None of these people, we don't know anything. We don't know anything. But they do. They do. Not only do they know, they're handlers with badges. Full well know. So ask yourself this: we have to make a decision. Do a certain amount of American citizens have to take a lick for the home team? In other words, to go ahead and take that false narrative on their death, and for that to be covered up, to save the big picture? Because if we allow these people to talk, if we allow Jenifer Gardner to talk, then I'm here to tell you, they will have to the feds will have to come in, UNICEF, the World Court, and everything else in China to get up enough money to build a prison big enough to hold these fools. That's why. Now, other than accommodations issues, how can we justify this? Because too many times the sheep absolutely yield. Well, they're in a position of trust, and I've just got to leave all that mumbo jumbo to them until it hits close to home. It's no longer mumbo jumbo. It's hold up, Sadie, hold the phone here. This is not right. And now we'll move on to what I told you what Cecil Cantrell said, and this is the word on the street. And I have no reason to believe that any of it is false or what have you. And people have a hard time coming to grips with, well, ain't nobody forced them to do drugs. Are you sure about that? Were you there? And just because your trip down a dope lane or not having dope at all, which you can't speak on it, and maybe some can speak on it, but unless you were there and familiar with that individual and what their MO is, you can't. There is no logical or intelligent answer to that other than I know for a fact that I've seen it with my own eyes, and especially with females, is someone shooting dope between their toes because there's no visual signs, needle marks, and so forth that where they would have to have something to explain. So he shoots these girls up, keeps control of them. This is a real problem, folks. This is a real problem nationwide. Again, we can't dismiss this. If an individual has control over another individual, that means they have control over them. This does not mean that they can leave. This means that they have some type of control over them. This is why we have the word called human trafficking. Okay, so hold on to that a minute. Kayla was headstrong and would fight back if someone did her wrong. She'd throw him out. He used to catch her asleep, and then shoot her up between the toes. Before she left him, she had changed her life and stayed away from him. He'd gotten really bad after she left him, and she had 4 times the lethal amount in her system of drugs when they tested her at the hospital. Well, I'd just like to know what the hell the hospital in Amory, but they can't wait to test somebody for dope. You've got brain trauma, and they want to let's see how much dope's in them. We've got to get the dope story. Get that first, and everything else is after the fact. After the fact. Amory, first of all, can't handle much over a sprained ankle. Amory had no business other than ascertaining the quickest way, bad flighting her to Tupelo, where she do a little better. But they got to keep. I don't know how long they kept her there. But Amory doing blood tests and all that. Give me a break. Check your temperature. That's about all they can do, enemas, just the basic stuff, and be prepared to stay all day. Oh boy, this just and folks, it gets better than that. There's so many. Now we know that that MBI for some reason. For some reason, and this is just blows my mind, that MBI steps in. We're going to get on down here to MBI. They're in there. And I'm going to post a little information on that, on the MBI deal. So MBI told Kayla's mother that, I see here that Jenifer Gardner, a drug counselor at jail. Folks, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, this is absolutely, people die. The lies are told. All of that's going on, and what do? These people get prominent positions, get jobs, and all that kind of stuff. It just it's unbelievable. Okay, now we're looking at some burglaries, and of course this is Jonathan Thompson, and this was WCBI reported, so I don't know where the burglaries were, but I do know that there's more burglaries and a murder, rape, and all this. An elderly couple in Amory, Mississippi. I don't think they found that. And people, let me tell you, folks, people that are around this scene and around individuals that know these people, they're going to be your best source of information. So when I come to you with information, I'm not coming to you with something, in most cases, that something I've read. When I talk about the power structure, especially with the power structure in law enforcement in North Mississippi, I can talk about it with knowledge of having to deal and attempt to deal with these people on a first-hand basis and seeing how they operate. Seeing the clear double standard. Clearly, with community-oriented policing, some refer to as gang stalking. That is a bad name because people think, well, it's just gangs of people creeping around. Well, in theory, yes. These gangs of people are the network of snitches, the network of community, businesses, the private entities, all working together. This is the holistic approach to community policing. It's everyone doing their part. And so it's a Truman show from hell, but it's real. If you doubt it, go to the Department of Justice website. It's a COPS program. That's real. They have window dressing. We want to make our communities a safer, better place. Oh, that's lovely. And they move on. What they fail to mention, they fall very short to mention, that over 4 million Americans a year complain of being stalked. That's what the government's giving us. The numbers are higher than that. We're not talking about some individual, singular individual stalking a woman in a dark parking lot at a university somewhere. No. So we'll paint the wrong picture there. By all means, we don't want to do that. That's I don't even want to see that. This is disturbing. So a lot of this stuff is absolutely disturbing, folks. I mean, I know that people they want some of the gore, and I think we've covered that. And I will post a follow up, some photographs and stuff that might shed a little more light on it. So we've got the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation, and this guy's name is FBI Agent Lieutenant Wayne Cantrell. I don't think he's a candidate Cecil or not, but this is Mississippi, and most people, if they were born in Mississippi, sad to say, they may be close relatives, and that's thank God I wasn't born in Mississippi. So I know, especially where I live, it's the family tree It just goes straight up. There's no branches. And that's some type of, I have a wild animal in here. So that's some type of, keep it in the family deal. The MBI agent is told the family members to quit calling him. Quit calling him. They initially said, well, she jumped from the vehicle. We don't investigate suicides. When the family keeps hounding the MBI about what have you done, what kind of progress you're making, then she's gaslighted and said and told, we haven't had a chance to work homicides because we're too busy working suicides. Did you hear that? MBI gaslighting the victim's mother. This real cute, isn't it? So they're playing these games. I've got a picture here where the federal, who is this giving him an award? I'm going to award my ass. This is coming from U.S. Secret Service. Give me a break. Secret Service is handing him some kind of award with a star on it. The same guy that's gaslighting a grieving mother that knows that her daughter was murdered. It wasn't an accidental death. It wasn't a suicide. But because they're rats, their whole clutch of high-profile rats, and when I tell you Jenifer Gardner, ask her yourself. I'm quite sure she'll tell you, yes, I'm a high-profile rat. I'm talking high-profile rat. I can see her standing right there when Kayla gets hit in the back of the head with a claw hammer. How in the hell can MBI have the audacity? How can Cecil Cantrell say, as far as he's concerned, a crime hadn't been committed, and then the MBI? And I'm telling you, folks, this is not going to go anywhere until you get outside of this incestuous bubble and that they build in these communities nationwide, because they want to protect the lie. This is the story that's been told. They're just biding their time. And as time goes on, the family gets gaslighted. And so the MBI guy that's getting the award from the Secret Service, or him or whoever's fielding the phone calls, well, we're too busy. And if my memory serves me correctly, he told Kayla's mother, he told Kayla's mother, oh, we're too busy. We've been too busy working suicides. We hadn't had a chance to work homicides. Well, if that wasn't a smart ass. And so this Tater Reeves, you've made a lot of poor choices. A whole lot. And you're quick to get on there and pose as a born again, Bible believing man. What you are speaks way louder than what you're saying. That your actions have absolutely drowned out anything you could possibly say. You have your fans. It wouldn't matter what you said. They think it was from on high. But when you appointed Sean Tindall to the Mississippi as the director of Mississippi Department of Public Safety, that was a grave mistake. Sean Tindall is a career. He has been on the state's payroll from day one in some type of capacity. It's under his watch where this community-oriented policing program has absolutely gone to seed. That we can say crimes against humanity and genocide. Where? In Ukraine? No. In Mississippi. Why isn't it all over the news? Oh, they are. The dirty South, my friends, have a track record, a proven track record of being able to suppress the truth, marginalize and dismiss any person that dare challenge them or question them. I'm here to tell you, and this includes you, Governor, you are working for us, all of Mississippians. MBI, we pay you to do your job to protect us, the citizens. It's not your call to make to get on the phone and gaslight a victim's mother. Period. That's the deal. You think you've got your own deal. You're running stuff. It's your show. We're writing the check, but you don't want to talk to the person that's writing the check. You have absolutely disgraced that office, the American flag, the Constitution, and the state of Mississippi, and you've spit in the face of Kayla Prestridge's family. I think it's high time that the Department of Justice open their own investigation. Because we know it rolls downhill, I think the best and the most appropriate place to start is with Sean Tindall, because this is the Commissioner of the Department of Public Safety, and it ultimately falls on his shoulders, as well as Tate Reeves. And we won't put the Attorney General in there. I mean, we already know the deal with her. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. So it will be more than making a little noise. I've had people tell me many times, don't rock the boat. Well, I'm here to tell you, I'm not trying to rock the boat. I am trying to turn the nasty thing over and dump it out, because we have a serious issue of absolute culture of corruption throughout law enforcement, statewide, because they're getting unchecked funds of community-oriented policing, and they get endowed with this stuff, and it's very, very broad, and it's not transparent. And these millions of dollars that's used to run these clandestine rats and stalking and creeping and voyeuristic peeping Tom programs from drones on down, and law enforcement gaslighting the victims and the victim's family and pretending like they're suffering some type of psychosis. Well, that line of bullshit will only get you so far. And we're holding you responsible. So that is my final message on this deal for today. It's not my final message. Go to change.org. It's Targeted Individual Protection Act. It's a petition. Going to Cindy Hyde Smith and 29 other members of the U.S. House of Representatives, asking them to change the program where victims and victims' families have transparency, and they have a way to challenge these things that are going on. Unless this happens, folks, it will continue to be smoke-filled backroom deals. And what you see in the newspaper, what WCBI, give me a break, and WTVA, give me another break, please. And these newspapers that are no more than liner in the bottom of a bird cage. And every now and then, somebody gets to hear the real story, and it's like, oh my God, this is so different than what we're getting out of the Daily Vomit Journal. Because let me tell you, folks, when you have a systemic issue of fake news, no backbones, God forbid anybody grow a set, we have this going on. People dying, people lying, and we never get the rest of the story. And I think, don't wait for it to hit close to home, ladies and gentlemen. Because when it happens to you, just remember, we said, what can I do about it? There's a lot of things you can do about it. There's a whole lot of things you can do about it. You can contact your senator, your congressman, the governor's office, and say, look, ask for a federal referral. The Department of Justice and Sean Tindall needs to do the same, because we have an absolute conflict of interest. These individuals that Kayla Prestridge was around and with work with the multi-jurisdictional task force. Multi-jurisdictional task force. They work for them. Not volunteering for them. They work for them. Okay? That's a conflict of interest. How are you going to investigate, even look at something where these people, the same people looking at it, the same people telling them to go in there and hoodoo somebody? And when it goes wrong, say, we got to cover this up. I hate when that happens. Well, I tell you why I hate when that happens too. I hate when the Constitution's spit on. And I hate when the American people, including myself, are lied to. And I hate it. The fact that these people are drawing paychecks, pensions, 401k, benefits, all these things, and come to find out, we've done all these things for these public servants, only to find out we've been getting robbed and screwed behind our back the whole time. Now, how does that make everybody feel? Because that's exactly what's going on. Exactly what's going on. Let me hear from you. I'm 100% listener supported. I have a GoFundMe, or you could download the Cash App, and I've got that link in there to the other things that I've talked about. Let me hear from you. Share, like, and subscribe. Thank you. God bless you.